It's a place for family memories and a summer you won't forget. Get your tickets at holidayworld.com.
This is Nick Frazier. As the Titans continued to practice, rookie quarterback Cam Ward spoke on his new wide receiver Calvin Ridley and the qualities he shows on the field to make him the best wide receiver in the league.
That man a dog. He can win versus press man. He knows zone. I think he's one of the top 5 receivers in the NFL, if not the best. And so I'm blessed to play with him. He's going to make me look good. Every chance, I get a chance to throw the ball to him. But he's somebody.
Your sports live here. WBUZ HD3 Laverne. We are the Game Nashville Sports Network. ESPN 94.9. The Fan.
30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee. It's the George Plaster Show, featuring Tennessee Sports Hall of Famers Kelly Holcomb and young gun Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in. It is a beautiful Wednesday in Nashville. It's a little on the warm side, but what do you expect in June? We got a good show for you today. Former Heisman Trophy winner and current head football coach at Bowling Green University, Eddie George, will join us today at 4 o'clock. Danny Evans from 3:20 to 4. We're going to learn a little bit about Duke baseball this afternoon at 4:25. One of their relief pitchers, Gabe Nard, will join us here on the show. I bet, and I'm going to ask him about it, that of all the combinations that he might have thought of last week, obviously he would have had Duke winning. But I bet Duke hosting Murray State was not high on that list.
No, and Duke hasn't. I don't know that they've ever hosted a super regional. Yeah, I think this is history for the Blue Devils.
Yeah,
so. And they actually just moved into a renovated park. So they used to play where the Durham Bulls play for a little bit the last 2-3 years, but they're moving back into their renovated park. So it's good timing
for this series.
Yeah, but there's some controversy. A lot of people are arguing, saying they should have it at the Durham Bulls Athletic Park, which holds a lot more than what Duke's Park holds.
Okay. Let's go to Murfreesboro. Say hello to Kelly Holcomb. Kelly, did you hit him straight today?
Man, it was bad today, George. I couldn't. I hit him straight, but I couldn't get on the green in regulation. Man, I couldn't chip and putt. I sucked today. Let's just put it that way.
What does that mean, green in regulation?
Well, if it's a par 4, you're supposed to hit the green in 2.
Oh, okay.
If it's a par 5, you got to be on in 3, or you got to be on. You got that's greens in regulation, what you're supposed to be in. So, I was not doing that today. I sucked chipping. Terrible.
I never do that. Oh man, I do wonder. How much fun would golf be if I got good?
I'm telling you,
I'm not worried about it.
For hours, I've sat home thinking about what I just did because I'm so competitive and I can't stand it. And there was a guy in our group, Jody. He was playing really well and he was putting the lights out, and it was just infuriating me because I'm so competitive. And he whipped my rear end. I'm talking about whipped me bad.
See, I've reached a point where I use things like, man, it's great to be out in the sun and the fresh air and my game sucks. So
I tried doing that one time, George. I tried looking up at the clouds and looking at the breeze blowing and all that, and hey, it's a beautiful day. And then I went right back to just irritated.
Yeah. It's not good. No. Billy, how are you today?
I'm good. Got the car situation figured out, and we're back rolling.
What was the actual prognosis?
The radiator was leaking, which didn't sound good.
No. Is that a pricing mistake?
Yeah, it was pretty pricey.
Okay.
Billy, I tell you what you need to do. You need to take that thing to the scrapyard and see if you can get some money for it and then start over.
See if you can sell it to Fred Sanford.
That would require buying a new one.
Oh, man. That
okay, Billy, you got it, dude. You're getting a lot of money from George.
Yeah. I'll just use the bonus I just got.
You did get a bonus. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't get a bonus. Why didn't I get a bonus?
Oh, don't worry about it.
Kelly, you'll get a Christmas bonus.
You got a damn NFL.
Oh, is that right? Yeah, I'll be holding my breath for that one.
To the Jelly of the Month Club.
Yes.
Gracious, I'll get that on the 12th and never.
In an NFL pension.
It's running dry.
That's what a wedding will do.
Gosh, don't start, George. Don't.
Okay. So we want to get to the update, apparently.
Yes, we want to get to the update.
Yeah, that's good.
It's brought to you by X Golf, the world's most accurate golf simulator. You can book a tee time at playxgolf.com. Fuel your game with X Golf's restaurant and bar. Got great food, great drinks. Their grand opening for a second store is this Friday. Just here in a couple of days out in Franklin. We'll be out there. Come join us. It's 209 South Royal Oaks. We'll be doing our show there. So love to see you guys out there. It's a really nice facility setup that they've got here in Bellevue. I'm sure it's going to be very similar out in Franklin. We got a loaded update today. We're going to start with Zakai Ziegler. Basically, the NCAA has come out and said, and the Department of Justice, they've combined to basically say it's time for Ziegler to get a job. The NCAA filed a response to his lawsuit on Monday, arguing that Ziegler can't have his cake and eat it too. Then yesterday, the DOJ took the unusual step of weighing in to support the NCAA's argument. The judge will hear those arguments on Friday. So it's
Can
not
I
looking...
be a smart aleck?
Go ahead.
The Department of Justice has nothing better to worry about.
Well, they got to step in.
100% exactly the truth, George. I mean, why are we worried about what's going on in the NCAA? We've got other things going on in our country and the world.
In a related note, the last time the NCAA won one of these lawsuits, the Braves were in Milwaukee.
I thought you were going to say Millard Fillmore administration.
You know, I left him out of this one.
That's
I was
usually
thinking the
go-to.
Eisenhower administration.
That came up earlier this week, so we've got to work on our presidents a little bit.
Yeah,
Maybe Taft.
start saying Taft.
Yeah.
Also in college football, Notre Dame's Marcus Freeman come out and said that he wants to play USC every year. Of course, we brought up a few weeks ago that rivalry could be ending. He came out and said, it's pretty black and white for me. You want my opinion? I want to play them every single year. When? I don't care. I don't care when we play them. Start of the season, middle of the season, end of the season. I don't care. I want to play USC every year because it's great for college football.
Then let's get on with it.
Well, they're working on USC. USC is starting to back out of these games, and Marcus Freeman.
He backed out of that Oklahoma job. Like, what's going on?
He backed out of the Oklahoma job, backed out of the LSU game from, was it last year or 2 years ago? So
they play each other. Didn't USC
well, he was trying to
win it?
back out of it. Do you remember we talked a lot about that last year?
That's not good.
So we've also got some comments from Ryan Day, of course, after the Ohio State Buckeyes win the national title. He has come out and told ESPN that we're in the Big Ten. We have 18 teams and some of the best programs in the country. I feel like we deserve at least 4 automatic qualifiers to the playoff.
Yes. Here we go. In a related note, the SEC reposted that on Twitter. Oh, yeah.
So
how much of this are we going to hear?
A lot more.
Power play, baby.
Yes, we deserve 4 because we're the big boys.
We have 18 teams. The 18-team argument doesn't really, I don't think, mean much. I mean, half the league is irrelevant. So
I don't know. I don't think, to be honest, this doesn't look good. They both come off looking like bullies.
Are they wrong though?
They can look like bullies, George. They're running college football, the Big Ten, the SEC.
Well, here's the thing, Billy. They should get 4 if they've earned 4. The best team should be in. And if in a given year, it's like the year the SEC got 3 in basketball. Why? Because they weren't very good. I mean, we shouldn't just be saying, well, the SEC deserves it because it just means more.
Yeah, he also noted that the addition of Oregon and Washington and, of course, USC has added to the conference, and they basically need 4 per year. That's what Ryan Day's saying.
Whatever.
NHL.
Coach some football. How about that?
Beat Michigan.
That's a thought. Yeah, seriously. The Oilers enter the Stanley Cup final as slight favorites to end Canada's 32-year championship drought, and the majority of bettors are backing it to happen. Edmonton has minus 125 odds to win the Cup over the Panthers, according to ESPN Bet Lines. And assuming the lines hold, Edmonton will tie Las Vegas, who beat the Panthers a couple of years ago in the Cup, as the longest favorites heading into the Cup final since 2007. A lot of pressure on the Oilers.
There's pressure on me. We have a play on that tonight. Yes.
There it is. Also, Arkansas, Tennessee, getting going this weekend. Saturday on the call, Tom Hart, Kyle Peterson, and Chris Burke, the A-team for the Vols and the Razorbacks. Saturday at 4 o'clock local time is game 1. Sunday at 2 o'clock. Both of them will be on ESPN. And Vols pitcher Liam Doyle was named a Golden Spikes Player of the Year finalist.
Which is no surprise.
No, not at all. Arkansas's, how about in this series, you've got 2 of the 3 Golden Spikes finalists. Vahiva Aloy, Arkansas's shortstop, is also a finalist for Golden Spikes. And this is a year where there's probably not like, and then the other guy is a guy named Lodis. Lodis is his last name. I forget which team he's on, but I don't know who's going to win out of that.
He's on Miami, isn't he? I believe I saw him a couple of nights ago.
He's on Florida State. Alex
on Florida State, okay.
Yeah, Alex Lodis, infielder at Florida State. So that's what we got, and that's what I got. We had another story. FanDuel has banned the sports bettor who heckled 3-time Olympic gold medalist Gabby Thomas at a Grand Slam track meet last weekend, and later boasted that his actions helped him win a bet placed on one of her competitors. A FanDuel spokesperson came out and said that FanDuel condemns in the strongest terms abusive behavior directed towards athletes. Threatening or harassing athletes is unacceptable and has no place in sports. This customer is no longer to wager with FanDuel. And Thomas said on Twitter, this grown man followed me around the track as I took pictures and signed autographs for fans, mostly children, shouting personal insults. Anybody who enables him online is gross.
Wow. That's just not the kind of story that you want out of sports.
No.
It really isn't. Good update. Had some meat on the bone.
Thank you.
Just a tad bit of meat. It wasn't much meat, but a tad bit. Downtime today, huh, Billy?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's not a whole lot going on, so tried to get as much as I could.
You did fine.
Well, thank you, George.
You're welcome.
George.
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
Well, his car. That's a tough one.
Why do we keep bringing up the car?
Hey, just like my college coach used to tell me, I don't care if your puppy dog died or your girlfriend broke up with you. Once you hit the gate, focus on football. You know what I'm saying?
Who was this that said that?
Well, Coach Donnelly, it come out of his mouth quite a bit,
Right.
but my quarterback coach, Coach Robbins, said, son, I don't care about all that. When you come through this gate, focus on practice and what we're trying to do this week.
Both quite the humanitarians.
Yes.
I love it. That's hilarious. After the break, Danny Evans will join us to talk some baseball. And yes, the old Bravos will come up early. Stick around. This is 94.9, The Fan.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
This is my buddy Stan Harrison from Apple Collision Centers. Recently, you've been talking to me about companies that have a fleet of trucks and they're always in need of repairs.
That's right, George. We understand that nobody likes to deal with the auto body repair process. We try to simplify that at our 3 convenient locations. We work with all major insurance companies. We help to ease the stress of the auto body repair process. We're located in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. If you need our services, please stop by and see us.
And how convenient that we have that in the background. Now, seriously, these are good folks. They do really good work. Give them a holler. This is my buddy Stan Harrison from Apple Collision Centers. Recently, you've been talking to me about companies that have a fleet of trucks and they're always in need of repairs.
That's right, George. We understand that nobody likes to deal with the auto body repair process. We try to simplify that at our 3 convenient locations. We work with all major insurance companies. We help to ease the stress of the auto body repair process. We're located in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. If you need our services, please stop by and see us.
And how convenient that we have that in the background. Now, seriously, these are good folks. They do really good work. Give them a holler.
Can't watch the race? We got you.
I can't believe it!
NASCAR lives on the Game Nashville Sports Network. Whether it's 102.5 The Game, 94.9 The Fan, or Sports Talk 830, you can hear it all. Just check theGameNashville.com for the full schedule. NASCAR lives here. Your sports live here on the Game Nashville Sports Network. It's the George Plaster Show. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Okay, we welcome all of you back. Couple of program notes to pass along. Number one, I'm going to open the phones for your questions and comments for Danny Evans at 3:40. So Kelly and I will move through this pretty quickly. And secondly, I want to thank Danny, who agreed to kind of switch days so that our buddy Mike Organ could do his thing out at the school day golf tournament, which is going on. I may not be saying it right, over at McCabe. So, Danny, thank you. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome, George. No problem.
Okay, I want you to put your general manager hat on, which you do very well. And talk to me about the Royals' decision to go ahead and call up Jack Caglione, who made his major league debut last night in St. Louis. What kind of things go through a GM's head about a young guy who a year ago was playing on the college level?
Well, first of all, I love him. Love his bat. I think he's going to be an impact big league player. I think he's Matt Olson. That's a pretty darn good player. He plays for the Braves, just so you know.
No, I had heard that.
When you bring a guy up, they're going to experience failure for the first time in their career on a very loud basis. And it's more about their makeup, their ability to handle adversity. And it's about, are they going to chase balls out of the zone? Are they going to adhere to the strike zone? This kid's got a chance to be a really great big league player. And I think he's going to be a quick impact bat. I don't think this is them saying, we're in trouble. This guy's going to save us. I think this guy's going to be one of their best players for the next 5 to 7 years. And I think he's shown in the college game that he was going to be a dude. They promoted him about a month ago from AA to AAA, and he just kept swinging it. I think it's a really good move. And I think, George, you just got to know your players. If he has the composure and the passion to be good and not press extremely high levels, I think this guy helps him defensively. And I just think he's really going to have great at-bats. I think this is a great, bold move, and I applaud them for it.
Danny, and you sort of alluded to it, there will come a point where the book gets out there among the pitchers of, okay, we found an area that's not as strong and we're going to attack. And then he's got to react to what they're doing. And I would guess that's the thing a GM really worries about.
Yeah, George, that's going to happen for the next 15 to 20 years of his career. He's going to have points in his career where he's going to be handling the fastball, and then they'll just exploit that in at-bats. And that's what the game is. It's an ever-evolving, reactionary situation at the plate and on the mound. And, the good ones are able to figure it out. The good ones battle through it and figure out what's being done. The ones that are stubborn, that don't alter their way of approaching either as a pitcher or a hitter, they get swallowed up by the sport. The sport's a sport of adversity, not a sport of success. And the ones who can manage it and I think traverse through the difficult periods, those are the ones both on the mound and at the plate that excel.
So, Danny, give me your thoughts on Freddie Gonzalez and what you think this means.
Freddie Gonzalez is one of the best baseball minds in the game, a terrific baseball guy. I thought he managed really well when he got his shot. A guy that people in the game like me have respected for an elongated period. He had a lot of loyalty to the Braves. What happened there, I don't know. I've known Matt Tuiasosopo since he was drafted by the Mariners. I was there in Seattle when we selected him. Terrific guy, team player. Sometimes your third base coach loses confidence. Sometimes your third base coach becomes a scapegoat. Whatever it was to do what they did in late May, early June of a baseball season, there had to be something that transpired that just caused this knee-jerk reaction. Freddie will be terrific. He'll have to, get a little bit of a vibe for being back in the box because there is a rhythm, a cadence to it. But I think this is an organization that's looking for something to kickstart their team. They're still going to be a contender for a wild card spot. But George, when they've had as many guys thrown out as they have, you start to wonder what is exactly going on. This is a club that 2 years ago was one of the elite offensive teams of all time. And now they're struggling to score runs. What are they down? A run and a half a game from 2 years ago? And when that happens, you press. coaches press, managers press. Alex and the group are just trying to find a solution. It's no slap against Matt. Matt's a good guy. He's going to get another job next year, and he's going to go down to the minor leagues and do some things for the Braves now. But if Freddie can help them and get some confidence in the third base box, hey, that's just another box they need to check right now.
Danny, does there come a point with them where Alex Anthopoulos, who I happen to think is the best general manager in the game, I think he's working with some constraints that I've always yapped about in Liberty Media. Does there come a point where he may have to say, wait a minute, it's not going to happen? And even though we'd be shocked to hear it, that they become sellers at the deadline?
Maybe, George. I think it's too early. Early June's not the time to make that decision. I think this is a team that has a chance to win 86, 87 games, which would put them right in the middle of the wild card chase. They can't afford to lose any more star players. But, George, it just comes down to two things. They got to swing the bat better. The injuries, I hear it. But just as a for instance, the Dodgers have 16 guys in the DL. They have 7 starting pitchers on the DL. Everybody goes through injuries. It's a matter of swinging the bat better and being more efficient. But also, George, they have not played well on the road. And they're coming up on a road trip, and they just have to start being a less lopsided team. I don't see them being sellers early. I think it'd be prudent for them to consider it at the deadline if they don't see themselves being that team. But George, you know what? I think you manage constraints. I think just about every general manager in the game has those constraints. And the ones who manage it best tend to be, winning clubs on an annual basis. The nucleus is really good, George, and their nucleus has not performed at the level that they anticipated. To his credit, he has not said anything about individual players and has taken the blame. That to me is leadership. I think it's real easy to point the finger like some people do, but this is a somewhat of a team failure, not at the level that Baltimore has been in this year, but this is still a club that has a shot. And, I think there's like 9 teams that have a chance for an NL wild card. So we're going to have a heck of a race. My guess is they're going to be one of the teams in that race.
Okay, you brought up something a second ago. This is the last thing I've got, and I'll turn it to Kelly. The general public, well, it's easy to be the Dodger manager. You just trot out Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts and on and Shohei Ohtani. But this guy, Dave Roberts, who you love, and you've got a great relationship with him, Danny, the way this man for a year and a half now has juggled through what looks like a MASH unit with his pitching, I don't know how he does it.
George, it's remarkable. His character is so elite. I love this guy. I've known him for a long time, 25 plus years. This is why I thought he was going to be a great manager and why I encouraged him to coach and manage as his career was still going on. It's one thing to be resilient, George, but the expectations for the Dodgers are absurd. I mean, I don't remember a team in the modern era who had loftier expectations. They've got an elite pitching staff, and they've got 4 starters down. Almost their entire bullpen's down. Scott's having a bad year. The rest of them are all in the DL, yet their offense has carried their club. They have the best offensive team in the league. I was watching them last night. I don't know if you've been watching that Mets series. It's been outstanding baseball. It's been, there are series during the regular season that take on a little different attitude, and you can see it. You could see it last night. I mean, just the way the two managers were playing chess against each other. But you never hear Dave Roberts complain. And literally, George, 16 pitchers on the DL. They've used more pitchers than any team in Major League Baseball. Yet, they're still one of the best teams in the league. Imagine who they would be with their rotation intact and their bullpen intact, it speaks volumes about their scouts and their player development. This is not an organization that goes out and outbuys people, George, because when you get hurt and you have injuries, your depth is displayed. There are some really bad clubs that have almost no injuries, and I think you're right. I think what Dave Roberts is showing, I'd like to just add to it, George. His one-loss percentage in the regular season is the best in the history of Major League Baseball. This is the winningest manager in Major League history in terms of regular season wins and losses. And as you said, the last year and a half, Mash Unit is being kind. I mean, more than half of his roster is inactive, yet they have a shot at winning high 90s. That's ridiculous. And it speaks to the character of the guys in the clubhouse. It's just next man up, let's go. And I'm a big Dave Roberts fan because of who he is as a man. But as a baseball guy, that organization never makes excuses. And I think that's why some people look up to him and others dislike him because they don't play the woe is me game. But woe is me doesn't get you any W's, George.
Kelly, your witness.
I want to expand on that. Why did it take him so long to get a job, Danny? He's showing what a great manager is. And I mean, I know you go through experiences in life, and it might not have been his time, but like, why did it take so long? Because this guy's, I mean, and everybody, just like George talked, he's got an unbelievable team, but like, you have to manage all those egos. You have to manage the personalities. And why did it take him so long to have that opportunity?
He dabbled a little bit, Kelly. Yeah, he went into broadcasting for a couple of years, did a really good job. It was very impressive.
Yes.
And then he went on Bud Black's staff in San Diego and, started out as a first base coach, moved to the outfield, then became the bench coach and was passed over for an interview by the Padres as their manager. And he was really disappointed. He was really bitter. 2 weeks later, he was interviewed for the Dodger job. I told him at the time, hey, listen, sometimes things are meant to be. Would you rather be the Padres general manager, or would you rather be the Dodger manager? I mean, this guy's had elite success. I think Kelly, he's not a self-promoter at all. I mean, I know this guy really well. And one thing he does not do is self-promote. And those guys tend to get their names out there a little bit more. The Dodgers hired the right guy when they hired him 10 plus years ago. And Kelly, you talk about elite results. When your expectations every year are to be great and your one-loss record is the best of any guy in the history of the game, you've met your expectations.
I want to go back to a couple of questions because George hit a little bit of what I wanted to ask. But like the kid at Kansas City that they brought up, the kid from Florida, the Caglione kid, like, as a general manager and as an organization, I know that they sit down and they talk about stuff like this and they talk about bringing him up. But like, how do you, a guy so young, I know Ken Griffey Jr., there's a lot of those guys, but like, how do you handle that situation? Because you do not want a young man to come into the organization and all these expectations are on him and he does not live. And that happens all the time. But like, and I understand that you have to know the personality of the kid that you're bringing in. But like, how do you approach that as an organization?
Kelly, it's harder to do with a high school draft. You can't rush a kid like that. He just hasn't been in an environment that really has allowed him to mature personally and professionally. I mean, Kelly, think about some of your bad games, and those stick mics are in your face and the cameras are right there. And, people don't have to deal with that in the workplace on an ordinary basis.
Right.
You suddenly have a bad game, you're trying to get the emotions out of your system, and there's a stick mic in front of you and a camera, and it's a perfect opportunity to make a big mistake. This kid played in an elite conference. He had high expectations at the college game, and the college game now is an elite game. I mean, it's a great petri dish for a young player. I tell you one thing, the Royals do a great job with their character. They really know their players. They've got a good group, a nucleus that really gets it, a good manager. Their general manager's terrific, but I think what they have here is a situation where they know the player. And they believe that he's not coming up to be the savior. This is a good club. I mean, Kelly, they're without him, they've got a shot at the wild card or the division. But with him, they could be a really, really good club. And I think it's a good example as a GM. I used to hear from some of the old school guys, don't get close to your players. Well, I call BS on that. You got to know your guys, and you got to know who you can really count on and who is more of a subordinate or complimentary guy. I mean, Kelly, you played with some good guys that didn't want to be the guy. They didn't want to be the spotlighted guy. Very comfortable not having the pressure of the spotlight on him. Well, you got to have somebody who's okay with it. And this guy will be. And Kelly, here's my thing on him. I think he's going to be a really good player out of the gate. I think he's going to have some adversity because almost everybody does. I mean, Mike Trout hit 180 for a period one year and had to be sent down. And Mike Trout is a first ballot Hall of Famer. So I think what you have here is a kid who's going to have some roller coaster, but I think he is going to have far more upside than downside. And the other part, Kelly, and I think you know this really well as a former player, he is not just a bat. This guy can play defense, and he's a real good teammate. And, when you don't contribute at the plate, you got to find other ways to be a contributor. He will be. I think it was a masterful stroke. I mean, we did it with Frank Thomas 35 years ago, and we never looked back. And I think you just sometimes have to look at the player and go, can this guy handle it? And they obviously believe he can.
Okay, so I got another go back question that George talked about. It's talking about his team, and they brought Freddie Gonzalez on. He's talked about, he's heard that Brian Snitker's not going to be there. Do you see something like this where the organization is just kind of getting ready for that? I know they're trying to kickstart things right now, but do you think the organization is getting ready for something to happen with their with their manager, and they're trying to make moves to kind of ease that?
Good question, Kelly, but I think they're playing for the now. I think after what they experienced last year with their injuries, what they experienced with Strider and Acuna down for an extended period, I think they're playing 2025, and they're not worried about next year. I mean, whatever Snitker does doesn't matter until next year. So I think he's the manager. He's got control of the clubhouse. This is a very good team. I think people sometimes forget that it's very hard to win in the major leagues. And, when you're on a pace to win 83 to 87, 88 games, that's a good season, not a great season. I just think what we have here is their expectations are high, Kelly, because their nucleus was intact. They've got good guys. It's just a matter of can they figure it out over the last 100 games of the season? And if they can't, I think there may be changes next year, but you don't worry about that color by number chart until the upcoming offseason, because there's no way of knowing who they are going to be over the next 2/3 of the season.
Okay, my last question is, are you really surprised at what the Detroit Tigers are doing? Because I can remember when I was growing up, man, Jack Morrison, the guys that go to the World Series, but like you hadn't heard much from the Detroit Tigers when it comes to baseball in a long time. And it seems like they got really good pitching. They're hitting the ball well. Are you surprised at what they're doing in the AL Central?
No, because what they did in the second half of last year was extraordinary. They were the best team in the American League over the last 2 months of the season last year, and they have kind of a next man up versatility to them. There's no egos. They play guys everywhere and anywhere. There's no batting order. There's no, like, AJ Hinch has done a great job just telling guys, be ready to play. We don't know where you're going to go. There was a great Starkville podcast about a month ago when AJ Hinch was the guest with Doug Glanville and Jason Stark, and he echoed what I just said by saying, our expectations are to compete 1 through 26 and let's go. But what they've really done is they beat you multiple ways, Kelly. They're defenders. They have good offense. Their offense is even better than anyone anticipated this year. I think they're the class team in the American League, quite candidly. And I sure as heck would want to play them in a playoff series. I think they're the best team in the American League, and I think their one-loss record is going to prove that at season's end.
Wow.
Okay, let's do this as we go to the break. We're going to take some quick phone calls. You got to react quick here because Danny's only with us until 4. So jump in on the phones now at 615-553-0933. Again, 615-553-0933. Billy, if they want to do it in another way, how do they?
The chat room is open on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. Just slide over to the right side of the screen on YouTube, type your questions in there. You can also swipe up on Twitter and Facebook, and would love to hear from you.
Okay. Hit the phones quick. We're back after this on 94.9 The Fan.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
If you are paying too much for your health insurance, you know what? You need to contact the folks at Pancoast Benefits. Pancoast works with businesses and individuals to tackle the high cost of health insurance. Whether you're a business owner, large or small, self-employed, between jobs, or over the age of 65 and in need of a Medicare plan, Pancoast can help. They make understanding your benefits less difficult and more personal. So check them out today, pancoastbenefits.com, or call them at 615-292-3400.
Nashville Sounds Baseball is back in Hit City for the 2025 season. Create a summer of memories at the ballpark with weekly giveaways, fireworks shows, and more. Tickets are on sale now.
Attention sports fans. The George Plaster Show will broadcast live this Friday from the grand opening of X Golf at 209 South Royal Oaks in Franklin. If you love golf in any form or fashion, this is where you need to be. Experience the future of golf through the world's most accurate simulator. See you in Franklin on Friday.
People want to define teams by singular performances.
Sports. Did he not go back into the game after that interception?
Let's get this turned around. And we're all saying, no, they don't.
Here.
You thought you were on your way.
Your sports live here.
On ESPN 94.9. The Fan.
And the Game Nashville Sports Network. It's the George Plaster Show. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Okay, we are back. Talking a little baseball with Danny Evans. And don't forget, at the top of the hour, former Heisman Trophy winner and now Bowling Green head football coach Eddie George will join us. Looking forward to talking to Eddie. Let's go to Eric on line 1. Eric, not a happy camper. The Reds got splattered on today by Milwaukee 6-1. Eric, welcome.
Yeah, I thought the score was like 9-1 or something like that. But yeah, George, you're right. You're now in
Maybe you're right.
Yeah. They're now in fourth place.
9-1. You're right.
Yeah. They're now in fourth place. They're falling like 9 games behind the Cubs. The Brewers are playing well. The Cardinals playing well, but the Reds are not. They're now like 3 games under 500. And still, the concern for me is they're now losing series. They lost 2 or 3 to the Brewers. They recently played the Cubs 3 in Cincinnati, 3 in Chicago, and lost 2 or 3 in both of those. And in 2 of those games in Cincinnati, the Reds had large leads and blew both of those by giving up double-digit runs. I mean, and they got shut out again last week, where they've now been shut out 9 times in the season. We played like about 60 games. I think they've got like 100 games left. And at this rate, if they keep getting shut out like they are, I'm worried they're going to get shut out like more than 20 times in the season. I know I'm trying not to panic, but this is just still a little bugaboo of mine where they still have issues at times scoring runs. And if they're not careful, they're going to fall so far behind they can't make a comeback. Because I think even the Brewers, even though they won it, I think they're still like either tied for the last wild card spot or game out. I know you're going to try and reassure me, Danny, but I just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Well, Eric, they're an odd club. I mean, offensively, they are streaky as can be right now. I mean, they've had some spurts where you think they're figuring it out, and then they go right back to who they are. I think one of the more difficult things in the game is when your team is struggling offensively, people press. I mean, Eric, these are human beings, and they press big time. And when they do, the hardest thing in sports becomes even more difficult. And you see it all the time. Look what's happening to the Braves. Look what's happening to the Royals. There's some really good offensive teams. Look at the Brewers. The Brewers are nowhere near as good as they should be. They're having the same offensive problems. There's no way they're going to catch the Cubs. I mean, the Cubs are a far better team than them, but they should be more of a wild card competitor, and thus far they have not been, but they certainly have the right guy in the dugout.
Well, the thing that's really concerned about me, and it's kind of they fall in the same patterns as last year. They got off to a slow start, then they got to a point where they were over 500, had a winning streak, but then once they got under 500, they couldn't get back over, and I'm afraid the same thing's happening again. They're like 3 games under 500, and every time they get to a close to 500 bar, they fall several games back. It's just they can't get over that hump, and that's just a frustrating thing to me about this team. Well, I'll get off and let you guys get some other callers. Y'all take care, and we'll talk again soon.
Eric, thank you. Let's go over to Smyrna. Frank, say hello to Danny Evans.
Danny, always a pleasure to talk to you. And I want to wish all of you good afternoon from Truist Park here in Atlanta.
Nice.
I'm here for I saw the Red Sox series, and now I am seeing the Diamondbacks series. And
I think you live there, Frank.
I'm sorry?
I'm starting to think you live there, Frank.
You know what? I do spend a lot of time as I am a Braves season ticket holder, but this has turned into the season of my discontent. My wife is she's going to kill me if I don't quit saying this. But Danny, I am so frustrated with the Braves, and you and George and you and Kelly have talked about this. I was here when they brought back Freddie Gonzalez. Just the other day, needless to say, none of us saw that coming. I'm wondering about the batting coach for the hitting coach for the Braves. Is he in his first year? Didn't they just replace the hitting coach over the winter, or am I mistaken?
Yeah, they fired Seitzer, Danny, didn't they?
Yeah. And Frank, you know what? Don't blame the coaches. It's the players. The players have to perform at the level they're at. Coaches are really there to be a shoulder to cry on, a guy to get you through stuff. At the big league game, you don't need a hitting coach to tell you what to do. You got there because you could hit. I think fans and media put too much emphasis on coaches and put the blame on them and give the credit to them. When the players are good, the players play, the coaches coach, and the manager manages. And I think what we have here, when you have just a disappointing start, I just don't ever like to blame the coaches unless the coaches are doing things that are adversely affecting the guys, like changing them or meddling. I don't think that's going on here. I think what we have is a team for the last year and a half that has not swung the bat very well. And as I said in the last call with Eric, when you struggle, it's not the coach's problem. It's in your head, and you start to struggle more and more. One thing we do is we play every day. And with that comes the complication of handling adversity daily. And a lot of people can't handle it at the plate. And I think that's what you're seeing across the big leagues this year. I mean, you think Juan Soto forgot how to hit? No, he's struggling. He has a $700 million contract, and he's trying to play to it. And I think this is what happens in our human world. And when there's 30 or 40,000 people in the ballpark, it's even more difficult.
Frank, go one more question because I got to try and get a couple of others.
Absolutely. Danny, you always have a way of making me think about the positive and look at it from a different angle. And I really appreciate what you're saying, and I value your opinion. That's why I call in. I don't know if things are as bad as they really seem to be here. And hopefully with Sale on the mound tonight, we just need a win. And hopefully we'll get it. And hopefully the weather will improve. The other question
Frank,
I have,
my dad used to say the rain's going to stop eventually. And, it's a great way to look at it. I'm not trying to be glass half full. I'm just looking at a team that I think is still one of the better teams in the National League. I think they're going to be okay, and I think they'll be relevant the last few months of the season.
well, I can promise you this, Danny. If they are, I will call and say you were right. and I hope you were right. And I believe what you're telling me. I do. And the other question I had is I saw earlier today where there was an apparent dust-up in Boston last night during batting practice between the Angels and the Red Sox and some of their coaching staff. Do you know anything about that or what that was all about? It looked pretty heated. What do you think that might have been? It's just curious.
Frank, you know what? I'm surprised this doesn't happen more often because there's so much crossover. After warm-ups are done by the home team and they're going to their dugout, they're going to their clubhouse, and the visiting team comes out and they're full of themselves. And I'm surprised there's so much talk between guys on the field. And, it's just surprising it got to that point. But I think it's a great sign that those two teams are competitive because there's no way an hour and a half before the game you're getting into something like that unless you care. And I think as a fan of the game, I look at it and go, I'm okay with it as long as it doesn't get in the way of the game at 7:05.
Somebody called somebody's mama a bad name. Frank, thank you.
Well, absolutely. Good job, George. You're right.
Billy, you got a really good question on down there at the bottom. Fire that away.
Joe asks, what's your opinion of the reasons the Dodgers are having so many pitching injuries, Danny?
I think it's a fluke thing. I really do. I think, Joe, to fully answer your question, it's an unnatural throwing action. I mean, pitchers, more than 40% of the pitchers on major league rosters have had Tommy John surgery. And I think the Dodgers just have an elongated season for about 5 or 6 years in a row. And with that comes the usual wear and tear of the high octane innings, those innings where you have everything on the table trying to win. That adds to the pressure. It adds to the physicality. I don't think they're doing anything wrong. They have an elite program. They just have a fluke thing. I also saw in the chat that there was a question about how much gas is in the tank for Clayton Kershaw. I'd love to have Clayton Kershaw's gas tank because you're talking about one of the best pitchers in the history of the game. Literally the winningest win percentage of any active guy and the lowest ERA of any active player. Is he what he was when he came up at age 20? Well, heck no. How many of us are as good or better than we were 16 years ago? But I think what we have here is a guy with guile and experience who knows how to get through innings. A couple of those runs last night were unearned. He's still a very effective big league starter. He's just not going to put people away with strikeouts anymore. The ball's going to be in play, and that's who he is at 36, 37 years of age.
Danny, because of time constraints, I want a yes or a no. Is Craig Kimbrell a Hall of Famer?
No.
Ooh. Okay. Good stuff. Talk to you.
Always good. Have a great weekend, guys. Good luck on Friday, George. Make sure the machine's plugged in before you play, George.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Thank you for shifting. I appreciate it. Mike Organ from the Tennessean as well.
Heartbeat, George. Anytime.
See you, Danny.
Bye,
He's the
guys.
best. Love having him on. Nobody talks baseball any better than Danny. after the break, stat of the day, and then we really step it up a little bit. Stat of the day won't do that, but Eddie George will. He's now Bowling Green University's football coach, and he will join us to start the 4 o'clock hour on 94.9 The Fan.
Looking for your favorite sports?
How about sports? You follow sports?
We probably have it. Just log on to the Information Superhighway. Oh, they don't call it that anymore?
To start, press any key. Where's the any key?
Head to theGameNashville.com.
The password. We're in.
You'll find what time your game starts and what station it's on.
Oh, they have the internet on computers now.
That's what's up. Your sports live here.
What an age we live in.
On the Game Nashville Sports Network. Listen on the air.
So don't tell me to chill out.
On the web at theGameNashville.com.
This team has strategically put themselves back in the mix.
Watch us on YouTube or download the Game Nashville app.
You have to make those plays.
Your sports live here on the Game Nashville Sports Network.
Give Dad what he really wants this Father's Day with gifts from Electronic Express. We've got the latest tech, hottest grills, and top-of-the-line home entertainment to help you celebrate Father's Day in style. Looking for appliances to help him finish that kitchen project? We've got that too, with free delivery, guaranteed lowest prices, and up to 24 months free financing. Make this Father's Day one he'll remember. Shop in store or online at electronicexpress.com.
Hi, this is Jeff Fisher, and the Nashville Cats return to F&M Bank Arena in downtown Clarksville for our next home game, Saturday, June 14th at 5 p.m. against the Corpus Christi Tritons. Please visit thenashvillecats.com for tickets. Clause out.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike. I don't think you can assume that this team comes back next year and has as good of a chance to win it all as they did this year or get to the finals, which is why I think it's pretty clear you have to attempt to upgrade. And I think you have avenues to upgrade. I think you just have to be willing to do something that I don't know that they're willing to do, which is the Nova Knicks are dead. Unsportsmanlike. Weekday morning starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2. Amber and Ian.
I just wonder if we're in a situation, if we're entering an NBA Finals where we're about to see the weakness of the East. The Pacers were certainly more tested throughout their run to get here. And so maybe that ends up meaning, hey, they're battle tested. They're not scared of anybody. From a roster perspective, if you're looking at this thing on paper, then the Thunder certainly have a pretty distinct edge.
Amber and Ian. Weeknights at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on SiriusXM Channel 80.
Your sports live here. WBUZ HD3 Laverne. All around the world on the Game Nashville app. We are the Game Nashville Sports Network. ESPN 94.9 The Fan.
It's the George Plaster Show.
Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Former Titan, Heisman Trophy winner, man of many titles, Bowling Green head coach Eddie George coming up next here on the show. But first, stat of the day brought to you by Apple Collision Centers. You can find them in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. Give them a call, 615-754-9800, or log on to their website. That's applecollisioncenters.com. All right, we're going more college baseball today. The SEC has dominated the College World Series recently. Who was the last non-SEC team to win it all?
Okay, Kelly, here's some names to think about. Oregon State, Coastal Carolina. I think it's Oregon State, but I can't swear to it.
What I remember UCLA, but that was quite a bit. That was quite a while ago, was it not?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it's UCLA.
If you're good with Oregon State, I'm good with it.
Show us the Oregon State Beavers.
It is the Beavs.
Yeah.
Atta babe, George.
Hey, it's a miracle. Was this not the year that Arkansas dropped the pop-up?
Yep.
That allowed Oregon State to win it?
It sure was.
Oh, man.
They gagged it.
Man.
Two outs.
Gagged it.
3 players right side of the infield converge, and they don't catch the foul pop-up, and the Beavers score to put it into extras, and they end up winning it in extras.
Oh, wow. I do remember watching it. And before that, the answer would have been Coastal Carolina, I think, who won it all in 16.
Yeah.
And they're pretty darn good again.
Yeah, they're at Auburn this weekend. It's gonna be fun to see who the 8 is this year. I mean, you could have UTSA, you could have Murray State, Coastal, like you said, and you could only have 2 SEC teams if we're being honest.
Yeah,
maybe even just one, because there's going to be one, Arkansas or Tennessee. But crazy.
So we're 2-1 for the week.
I think so.
That doesn't happen very often. Okay,
Nice,
we
George.
welcome all of you. Yeah, how about that? It's about time. So we welcome all of you officially into the 4 o'clock hour from our digs at the Fordyce Center in Bellevue. This man is no stranger to Nashville Sports Talk Radio. He's no stranger to Nashville athletics in general, but he is now the head coach at Bowling Green State University. It is an honor to say hello to our friend Eddie George. Eddie, how you doing?
George, I'm doing good, man. I can't complain, brother. Just spent the last 24 hours driving up from Nashville to Bowling Green with my wife and Bulldogs, and trying to get settled here up here in the new community. And it's new beginnings, man. It's bittersweet. Leaving Nashville for now. Being in a place that I've been for the last 27 years is different. But I come to a place that's somewhat familiar territory in the shadows of Ohio State and Columbus. Very much familiar with the area, and it's been welcoming. It's been refreshing to some degree. So, emotionally torn. Clearly leaving the community of Nashville, but excited for what's next in my life in this next chapter.
So, taking over a program at a higher level in the MAC, what's that part been like?
It's a whirlwind, man. Because of the timing, honestly, a little bit behind in recruiting, behind in terms of the fundraising efforts, getting caught up to speed on onboarding. Our camps, just trying to get caught up to speed with everything. You have some movement within our staff, like externally speaking, that I gotta, interview people for and so forth. So it's been a whirlwind, and on top of me moving and getting myself situated and knowing the team, implementing an offense, making sure everything is the way I needed to be done. It's been tough, but I'm in this situation for a reason. I've been ready for it. I've built for it. I'm excited. I meet it head on. Whatever challenge that's come and adversity that's come, I've embraced it. And I look to grow through it and get better because of the adversity. I've always lived my life like that. That's how I've attacked everything that's hard has come my way. It has not been easy. I cried through it. I prayed through it. I laughed through it. I get frustrated through it, but I get through it. And that's been the rewarding part of this whole deal. So great days are coming, I believe, for Bowling Green. It's been a tough, hard 3 months in terms of getting grasp entirety of the situation, but taking it with grace and taking it day by day.
So, Eddie, it would be easy to predict that the people of Ohio would shower you with welcome and all that stuff, given your Ohio State background. But has it even surprised you, the level of it?
It has, man. What's funny? To get to Bowling Green, you got to fly through Detroit, right? So there's a lot of that team up north fan base up the way. They know I took the job. They know where my heart is. They know, of course they know. We had our battles. And they're excited and complimentary of the opportunity. And I'm like, man, this is odd. Michigan fans are really supporting and been really excited about what's happening at BG. Has been phenomenal, man. Just the support, just the history between, Michigan and Ohio State at Bowling Green is pretty profound. I mean, Perry Doit, the head coach, the famous head coach for Bowling Green for so many years, was the liaison between Woody Hayes and Bo Schembechler during that 10-year war. And it served as Amsterdam, so to speak, that place of peace where the two coaches constantly met just to talk ball, to bury some hatchets and so forth. So as I'm, getting more ingrained in the community and the history of Bowling Green, I'm finding all this out. Like, man, there are some ties from some Hall of Fame coaches that we know of that have coached in the MAC, have coached at Bowling Green and so forth. So it's been awesome to see the fan base of Ohio State, certainly Bowling Green, certainly even the Toledo faithful have been very supportive until now, as of right now. But just the love and support that I've gotten has been tremendous.
Eddie, when you first meet with that new team, as you did at Bowling Green, how much does it help that they can go Wikipedia and go, whoa, this guy gained 10,000 yards. This guy won a Heisman Trophy. Does it give you the benefit of the doubt early with a new group of players?
Well, my track record as a player, yes. It has, they look at TikTok, they come to me and talk about the Ray Lewis battles, the rivalries that we had. They ask me about it. They look at the football life that I did, and they find out about me as a man, and they have questions. So those things really help. But as a coach, I have 4 years under my belt at Tennessee State that I'm very grateful for. And I won a championship as a head coach. I got voted Coach of the Year, of the OVC. Finished second nationally for the Eddie Robinson Award. So that stuff, goes a long way with kids. That, hey, I'm not coming in as a celebrity coach. I have some experience. I still have a long way to go. The vision, buying into the cultures being established and the demands and the lifestyle that we're presenting to these young men. Doing things, they're yearning for it. They see it. They're really buying in. So it didn't really take a whole lot of convincing, I guess, to see if I was on board or if I'm legitimate or anything of that nature. It was a matter of being understood, how we're going to do things, and it's been good so far.
Talking with former Heisman Trophy winner and now head football coach at Bowling Green State University, Eddie George, with us on the line. Eddie, you're about to talk with former NFL quarterback Kelly Holcomb. Kelly, take it away.
Eddie, how you doing, man?
Kelly, what's the word, man? How you been, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm just sitting here thinking, like, you were a player, and I know you like the challenge because you've done Broadway, you've done other things in your life. You're not scared to fail, and I've kind of admired that, from a distance. But you and I both, and you more than me, obviously, but you and I both have been in kind of that meat grinder. What made you want to step over that line from being a star athlete to a Heisman Trophy winner to Mr. Everything to being a head coach at TSU, and now you're going to Bowling Green? What made you come to that conclusion?
Honestly, it kind of sought me out, I guess. I didn't think about it. Initially, 4 years ago, was presented with an opportunity to be the head coach at Tennessee State. I've shared the story before, and I resisted that for a long time. And, I was asked to continue to do it. She was very persistent on me being the head coach. And finally, I asked myself the question, okay, what does she see in me that I don't see in myself? Because I didn't have any aspirations of doing it. And once I went down that path of, okay, if I did start, I really took it serious. If I did start a program, how would I start it? And when I asked myself the question, why would I do this? And the why was I could have an impact on young men's lives and give back to the game that gave so much to me, and to add more value to their lives at an earlier age than when I got it. Then that opened up Pandora's box of ideas, and my heart then got connected to that idea. And that's when I kind of knew, okay, this is the next thing for me. Now, all the things that I've done up to that point was like, man, okay, I had in my mind, I was going to, be in Hollywood. I was going to be on Broadway. I'm trying to win an Emmy, a Grammy, an Oscar, Tony, and be on screen with Denzel and all that other stuff. But God had other plans for me. But what it did, Kelly, was, my years of acting and training on stage has prepared me and has opened me up to be vulnerable. And as a head coach and as a coach, the best coaches are vulnerable. And, hey, I don't have all the ideas. I've made these mistakes. I was that kid that cut corners. I was that same kid that had a 1.3 GPA as a sophomore in high school and thinking I was going somewhere, but it wasn't going nowhere fast. So I had to change my thinking, and I'm a byproduct of, my faith and working hard and delving deep. And I've been there and I've been successful through it. So there's nothing that these kids can't try to get by me, because I was the master at it all. The bad, the ugly, and the in between. So, that really appealed to me, and I was so excited once I finally committed to being a head coach. And it was tough in the beginning, but it prepared me for now. And I was like, man, I love it. I love what I do. I wake up and I don't have to do this. No, I get to do it. Because to be a head coach, man, you're responsible for the lives of some precious seeds, man. And it's my job to create a soil, an environment that's enriching and that can continue to empower them to reach their full potential. My job every day is to call them up to their full potential of who they are. And that's men of God, they're kings, they're champions, and we're going to develop the habits that are associated with being a champion. You know what I'm saying? So I love it. It's a lot of work, but it's the grind is the grind. I'm addicted to the grind. And like the Nipsey Hussle song, I'm stuck in the grind. That's one of my top songs right there. I'm stuck in it, and I immerse myself in it, and I love it.
That's an awesome answer.
There, man.
That's an awesome answer. So what us being players, what is the biggest thing that, because when we used to go to practice, we'd go to practice and then we'd stay a little bit after, but we'd go home and you'd have coaches there staying all night looking at stuff. So what is the biggest thing that you've learned that you didn't know as a player that now you know as a head coach?
Is that you talk about the grind as a coach. Yeah, there's some nights you got to burn the midnight oil, but for the most part, you got to get your rest. I think you can only maximize your day for so much that you've given it your all, that after a while it can work against you. So I believe that you have to recover. You have to get renewed in your spirit, renewed in your thoughts, and get refreshed. And my thing is, hey, coaches, I don't want you in the office all night long. Again, we'll have those nights where we're being there, but that's not going to be every day, all day, just to meet. We're going to be efficient in our work and so forth. So those things I didn't know as a player. A head coach is really about establishing the vision of what you want. You're going to spend the majority of your time managing people, and being a mentor and being a therapist, being a shoulder to cry on, being a disciplinarian, being a fundraiser. You're going to wear so many different hats. You're going to be a fireman more so than a play caller. And that's the one thing that I've been privy to over my years of preparation, is that I've seen a lot of different things. I've started businesses. I've I've seen businesses fail because of a lack of communication and commitment and care and a lack of vision. So I've been down those roads before. So those things are not foreign to me. So I bring all that experience to the table, and that's kind of what I've seen, as a head coach now, former player as a head coach now.
With this new age, Eddie, with this new age of college sports and college football, how are you? How are you in the NIL? How are you with the transfer portal? How is that? You got to get used to that. And you're at a MAC school. You're not at Ohio State or Michigan or places like that. So how do you? How do you get all that wrapped into one? Like, how do you manage the NIL stuff, and how do you manage the transfer portal?
You embrace it. The transfer portal's been good to us. We've gotten some really good players out of the portal. You talk about NIL. For me, it's very simple. What have you produced? What's your production? No production means what? No NIL, right? So for me, it's plain and simple. The play now, NIL has a place in terms of the kids that you recruit out of high school. High school still matters to me. Development still matters to me. Discipline still matters to me. So I'm going to go out and recruit high school hard and develop and reward those guys that stay and get developed. If you go out and I recruit you to Bowling Green State University, and you go on to be an All-American, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to find ways to compensate you. I'm going to find ways to raise that floor up of the value of your scholarship, but on top of that, align you with opportunities to get compensated off your name, image, and likeness. And on top of that, you're going to understand, okay, set up an LLC. Financial literacy is also very important in all of this. So it's a wonderful opportunity to teach kids about financial literacy, about being wise with your money, and so forth, because that's a part of being developed. So I embrace it. Now at Bowling Green, we are raising money for our collective. I'm not looking to pay kids out of the portal. I think there are some outliers out there where you have to pay for a quarterback that's produced, or you're paying for a defensive tackle or defensive end that has produced. There is a market out there for that. But I think in the future, things are going to begin to settle, and we're going to see maybe a cap on in terms of how much you can pay a player, a one-time transfer rule. There's going to be probably one window for transfer portals for guys to jump in the portal, and it's going to be closed. So there's still some things that need to be done, but this is where we are in college football. It's something that should have been done a long time ago. Now we have to put rules and regulations around it, because right now it's the wild, wild west, and they gotta reel this thing in.
I sense, this is my last question. I sense the excitement in your voice. I love it, man. I feel like I could come out and play, but I wouldn't want to get hit anymore. You still look like you could play, but I'm going to ask you this, and George kind of asked you earlier, how does it feel to be back in Ohio? And I'm sure you thought about it, and I know you probably, because you just talked about you've done some things in your life that have failed, but like you won the Heisman Trophy. You're so well thought of in Ohio, and if it doesn't go well, I'm sure you thought about that. What? How do you take that? And how, like if you don't do what you plan on doing, are people going to look differently at you as all the things that you've done in Ohio?
Hey, if it don't work out, it doesn't work out. I affirm that it will. My thing is, man, this, Kelly, like, I don't focus on the what ifs, and if it doesn't work out, I know what I have in my heart. I know the vision that I have, and I'm going to focus on that part. The results are going to take care of itself. I know the blueprint. I've been a bricklayer and I've been an architect, so I know what it looks like, and it's going to take hard work. It's going to take dedication. It's going to take the discipline. It's going to take discernment. All those things have to go into it day in and day out. It's a lifestyle, and that lifestyle is going to take care of the end result. So I don't get worried about if it's going to work out. You know, if I don't have a winning record, then hey, I don't have a winning record. But what have I learned? How have I impacted these young men? I'm giving them something that they can take on for generations. I believe in transformational leadership, not transactional. I didn't jump into this deal to be the winningest head coach in football history. I jumped into it to have impact. Now, I am a competitor. Am I going to go after that? Absolutely. Do I want to go after Bill Belichick or Nick Saban? Oh, no doubt. That's what I want to do in the end. But I can't worry about, hey, I need to be a Nick or no. I'm going to be myself, and I'm going to constantly develop and cultivate the culture. That's where my thought process is. And if I do that, then everything else will fall into place like it always has been. So, you know, my goal is to this year put a product on the field that everybody can be proud of. We're going to be fast. We're going to be physical. We're going to be disciplined. And we're going to come downhill. We're going to be believing knockback on both sides of the ball. That's where I'm going to spend the majority of my time in development. And if that translates into a winning season, then it does. If it doesn't, hey, we got work to do. And we're finding out who we are through the whole process. So there's no such thing as failure to me. You know, there's only lessons, and you have to take advantage of those lessons in order to grow and evolve.
Eddie, first of all, thank you for taking the time to come on. Please tell Brandon Fisher, your defensive coordinator, Dwayne Alexander, who I've known for years, please tell them both I said hello. I am thrilled you called Friday night because it was a lot of fun Saturday.
Yeah, it was, man. And George, thank you for making that call, for answering the call, man. I appreciate you. It came in the dire need situation. You found a way to get it done, man. So, and you knocked it out the park as usual, brother. So I appreciate you more than you know, man.
Eddie, you are the best. Look forward to talking to you soon.
All right, champion. Hey, be well. Kelly, take care, man.
See you, brother. Good luck.
By the way,
bye-bye.
The answer that Eddie George gave you to the first question may be as good an answer in an interview as I have ever heard on this show.
That was good stuff.
I stopped playing football in 5th grade. I didn't want to get hit. But I'm telling you, by the time that was over, I was ready to jump through a window.
You can just tell his excitement for it, man. And that's what I've always admired about Eddie. Like, he's not scared to go out there. Like, I had my feel. I coached high school football. I had my feel of that. And I don't know. I enjoy doing this. I think sometimes that I do miss that a little bit because I miss being around young men because I think they need positive reinforcements in their life. And that's why I started doing it anyway. But, like, he's not scared to fail, and that's what I love. No. You can't be that way. And you can hear it in his voice. He said, I've got a job to do. I've got a vision. I've got people in place. He said, we're going to go at it the best we can, but if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I love that about him because when you got a guy that goes on Broadway and does stuff like that and wanting to go to Hollywood,
incredible.
He's willing to put himself out there and take a challenge, whether he fails or not.
Yeah, and he's a kid. He's a guy that kids will rally around. You've already seen it. You've already seen it at TSU. I can tell he's going to recruit. And now you talked about the MAC level, George. Obviously, it's a little bit tougher, but it's not going to be a lot of losing if you looking back 3 years from now. He's going to get that program right.
I'm going to send him a text later. Here's what he needs to do for NIL: Buckeyes for Bowling Green. You like that?
That's pretty good. That's a pretty good promotion right there.
Absolutely, it would work. After the break, we're going to learn about Duke baseball. Think about this. A week and a half ago, I bet you didn't have Duke hosting Murray State in a super regional. We'll find out if one of the Blue Devils had that one going in his head. When we come back, this is 94.9 The Fan.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun.
Are you ready to begin? Trevecca Nazarene University, from calling to becoming.
Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com.
I trained my entire life to be the best. I was one of the fastest women in the entire country. But woke politics made me swim against a man, sharing the pool and the locker room. That's not just dangerous, it's degrading. Thank God for Marsha Blackburn. No one fights harder to protect us. Marsha Blackburn will always stand for strong women, because she's one of us.
I'm Marsha Blackburn, and I approve this message.
793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com.
I trained my entire life to be the best. I was one of the fastest women in the entire country. But woke politics made me swim against a man, sharing the pool and the locker room. That's not just dangerous, it's degrading. Thank God for Marsha Blackburn. No one fights harder to protect us. Marsha Blackburn will always stand for strong women, because she's one of us.
I'm Marsha Blackburn, and I approve this message.
Looking for your favorite sports?
How about sports? You follow sports?
We probably have it. Just log on to the Information Superhighway. They don't call it that anymore?
To start, press any key. Where's the any key?
Head to theGameNashville.com.
The password, we're in.
You'll find what time your game starts and what station it's on.
Oh, they have the internet on computers now.
That's what's up. Your sports live here.
What an age we live in.
On the Game Nashville Sports Network. It's the George Plaster Show. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
One final thought about Eddie George. We've done a lot of shows together over the years. I have never felt the fire in him quite like I did in that interview. Wow.
And either, George. I've been around Eddie a couple of times, and he's mild, he's calm, but like he was intense in that when he was answering those questions, man, you can tell. I want to know, because I've told y'all this before. Sometimes when you're able to do something like he did for a long, he won the Heisman Trophy, but when you're able to do something like he did, and I wouldn't say easy, it's a lot of hard work, but you've got natural ability doing it. I had natural ability throwing the football. Sometimes it's hard for somebody it's natural to instruct somebody that it's not natural to, and you're like, why can't you do this? You know, so that's what makes it intriguing to me. And like, he's been in that fire before. He's been through all that. And for him to do what he's doing so many years after he's finished playing and just decide, hey, I want to start coaching. He starts at TSU, and he was the OVC Coach of the Year last year. Like it's it's evident that he likes what he's doing, and I think it's pretty cool. I really do.
I do too. So this kind of dropped in my lap a couple of days ago. But one of our interns this summer, Hugh Greenfield, says to me, would you like to have somebody on from Duke's baseball team? And the answer was, heck yeah. Duke, as a lot of you know, went to the Athens Regional where Georgia was a heavy favorite, beat Georgia, beat Oklahoma State, among others. And with all of this in mind, we're about to talk with one of their relief pitchers, Gabe Nard. Hugh, do the intros. Say hello to him.
How's it going, Gabe?
How you guys doing?
Good, good.
So you all got to know each other Cape Cod League?
Yes, sir.
Was Hugh behaved?
Oh, very well behaved. Very well behaved.
Always.
Yeah, sure he was. So I've had some fun with this. And I'm guessing that of all the equations you may have put together a week ago, before you all ever got into NCAA tournament play of, hey, if we win, we could host. And I bet you didn't have Duke hosting Murray State, did you?
No, sir. I mean, that came quite that opportunity that, I think it was 2 nights ago when Murray State was playing Ole Miss and they got that final out. It was like, wow, we actually have a chance to host here, which has never been done at Duke before. So this is going to be a pretty cool opportunity.
So what's the level of excitement on that campus about that very fact?
I mean, we're buzzing. We're buzzing. Tickets sold out like crazy. A lot of the guys have all their family coming down. New seatings getting placed in the field. We're getting ready for this. We're going to treat it like we've been there before, and it's going to be a great time.
So very few people thought you all could come out of the Athens regional alive. Talk to us a little bit about some of the games that went on and how you all played in that region.
I think a lot of credit goes to the coaching staff, and for us, we have a lot of confidence as a team. We kind of feed off each other. We kind of call it the energy factory. Our dugout is just full of bits, having fun. We think that we could beat anybody in the country. And going into the weekend, we knew that it was going to be tough. Georgia, obviously, one of the best teams in the country. And Oklahoma State, which is not a bad team by any means, who hit the ball really well and have great arms too. And we kind of went into that we're going to focus on ourselves. We're going to play our game, and that's what we did. And kudos to our guys. We pitched our tails off. We hit our tails off, and the coaches did a great job. Coach Paul would give a lot of credit to Brady Kirkpatrick, who's our pitching coach, because he called 3 ball games, and I don't think he missed a pitch. It was very impressive.
Help me with this. One of the things I think I've learned, and maybe, I watched the downfall of it with Vandy, is that there's certain teams that are loose, look like they're having fun, and there's certain teams, whether it starts out this way or not, that get very tight. How did you all stay loose?
I mean, we're playing with house money. We, as a team, we kind of feed off it's an earned opportunity. We earned this moment. There's no place that we would rather be, and we're just having fun with it. Whatever happens, happens, and we're playing with house money. And the pressure's in their dugout. They're hosting. They're the 1 seed, and we're a really good 2 seeds, and we know that. So we kind of just play loose, free, play our game, have fun with it, and treat it like it's any other game.
So tell me this. I think I'm right about this. Shaker Heights, Ohio, very
Yes,
near
sir.
Cleveland.
Very near Cleveland, yes.
How'd you end up at Duke?
So my recruiting process started pretty early. Freshman year, I threw in the state championship game, had a little buzz around my head. And I was actually very interested in a couple other schools like Ohio State and Michigan. And then I went down to this Head First camp, which is like an academic-oriented baseball camp, and started talking to Duke. Went down for a camp and just kind of fell in love with the place, the campus, the weather, the people, and the rest is history. As they offered me, it was no-brainer for me and my family.
Okay. Last thing from me, and then I'm going to turn it over to former NFL quarterback Kelly Holcomb. At Duke, first college basketball game I ever did was Cameron Indoor Stadium before you were born. And it was so long ago, it was Mike Krzyzewski's third year, and they wanted him out. They didn't think he was any good. Boy, that tune have to change. Have you ever sat in line for one of those deals at where all the tents are? Krzyzewskiville. Yeah, I got to ask that.
That's a good question, but as a student athlete, we have practice that kind of takes us away from having that opportunity. But we get tickets to most of the games, so we don't really wait in those lines. But if I was a student, I would definitely think about tenting for sure. I think it's pretty cool. Living outside for a couple of weeks with your best friends, like, I don't know if that's something you would do, but that's something I would do.
Kelly, Cameron Indoor Stadium has got sort of this old science hall look to it. I remember thinking, where the hell's the basketball gym? And
it's like a high school gymnasium.
Yeah,
it is. It's only like 7,000 students, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead, Kelly.
So Gabe, you need to tell George I went to Duke because I'm smart.
Yeah.
That's what you need to tell him. Hey, so us being in the middle of SEC country down here, give us a little bit about your head coach. Like what makes him tick? How do you guys follow him? Like just give us a little bit about Chris Pollard.
I think one thing about Coach Pollard that our guys just firmly believe in, and what makes us believe in him, is just like how brutally honest he is. Like, he doesn't sugarcoat anything. He doesn't like try and manipulate in any way. Like, he's a great coach. He knows what he's talking about. He loves his guys. He'll fight for you. Like, he's just a great, great coach who loves his players, but will be brutally honest with them, discipline them when they need to be disciplined. And he has a great coaching philosophy.
I know you guys are excited to host your first super regional, but with one of the things that went on the other night with, is it AJ Gracia, like getting thrown out of the game for something that was silly, just like took 2 steps onto the field and they did something like that. Like, how has Coach Pollard handled that? I know it's the next guy up, but still, he's one of your better players. Like, how have you guys talked about that, or what do you think about that?
Obviously, AJ is one of the best players, not only on our team, but in the country. And losing him was just, especially to that, like, little of the rule that happened, like, that they used on him, was pretty bad. And, like, he didn't do anything. He was celebrating our success. And Coach kind of said it the best in his post-game interview, like, the rule needs to go. And, I mean, I don't really have much input on it because I don't know a lot about the rules and the umpires and how that works, but I think Coach Pollard's handling the situation great. He's reaching out to people and doing the best he can to get this reversed, but it's obviously just a bad rule and something that needs to be changed. But yeah, losing AJ is a bit of a dagger, but I mean, it is the next guy up, and our team's great with dealing with adversity, and I think we'll handle it well.
Gabe, appreciate you taking the time. But for anybody that doesn't know, AJ was holding a white construction hard hat, walked a little bit outside the dugout, was, of course, ejected, and is suspended for the first game of the Super.
Are you serious?
That's what happened, George. It's ridiculous.
Good Lord. Let's have some fun.
Yeah.
But on that note, Gabe, that's a part of you guys' blue collar mentality. That's why you guys have the hard hat. How is that preached within the program? And how is the hard hat something that you guys can rally around?
One thing that we'd like to talk about is having this blue collar mentality. Like, you come to the day, nothing is given to you, everything is earned, and just like that hard hat is given to someone after they hit a home run. We also have like a fire extinguisher hat for like a pitcher that gets out of a jam, stuff like that. Just recognizing people's success when when you get out of a big situation or have a big moment. And it all comes back to just like this blue collar mentality, like nothing's given, everything's earned, and be grateful for everything. That's something that Coach Pollard preaches, just gratitude.
I got to ask, how you guys had already wrapped up your title. How close were you guys watching Ole Miss and Murray State? I would imagine there was some rooting interest there.
I mean, yeah, we were watching as a class and kind of just pulling for one team, but it doesn't matter who we play. We're going to play the same game, and I think that what got us going is this opportunity to host at Coombs. That's something that has never been done before, and something that I know I've always wanted and coaches always wanted, and it's going to be a great opportunity.
You mentioned the Jack Coombs Park, and you mentioned the extra seating that's going to be added. I've seen a lot of comments about the Durham Bulls Athletic Park, because you guys had played some of your home games there, I know, the last couple years. Are you glad to be playing here at Coombs, or is there a little bit of it'd be kind of cool to play in Durham?
The DBAP is obviously a cool park, and for the majority of my freshman year, that was our home field. But I'd say Coombs is home for me. I think it'll be super cool to play there and just bring some more attention to Durham.
Billy, we have learned on the show, late breaking news, they were rooting for Murray State.
No. I didn't think so.
I just thought I'd pass that on. Hugh, do you want to say goodbye?
Yeah, it was. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate
Absolutely.
It was a
Of course,
pleasure.
appreciate it, Hugh.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gabe, good luck to you guys. Appreciate your willingness to do this.
Really appreciate you guys. You guys have a good one.
By the way, if you want to get into broadcasting, you got the ability.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Talk to you.
Have a good one, guys.
See you, buddy.
Gabe Nard, Duke relief pitcher, joining us. By the way, be careful on Murray State.
That's a good team.
That's what I was about to say too, because there's a lot of pressure. Your first super regional, and you were thinking you were going to play somebody else, and now you got Murray State, the first time that they've been into a super regional, and they're pretty good. And there's going to be a lot of intensity and a lot of pressure on the Duke Blue Devils. That's for sure.
Now more than ever in college baseball, like the advantage is with the road team that isn't expected to win. I mean, am I wrong in that? This postseason, like, just look at the trends. You know, Texas got knocked off. I know it's not every team, and credit to the team survived, like an Auburn. Oh, we got double George. Like an Auburn, Tennessee who held serve. That's hard to do. Just winning in your own park, even with all the pressure on you. Tennessee's a good example this weekend. Murray State, like Kelly mentioned. You've got UTSA going to UCLA. Like,
who would have thought that?
Not me.
You know what I have to say about that? Yeah. Nice. Okay. We'll go to the break. Kelly, I heard this earlier today on ESPN. We are 80 days away from the start of the college football season.
Oh, wow.
And you know what? The first big week, the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Labor Day weekend is loaded like I have never seen it before. We'll talk about that next on 94.9 The Fan.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
This is my buddy Stan Harrison from Apple Collision Centers. Recently, you heard about companies that have a fleet of trucks and they're always in need of repairs.
That's right, George. We understand that nobody likes to deal with the auto body repair process. We try to simplify that at our 3 convenient locations. We work with all major insurance companies. We help to ease the stress of the auto body repair process. We're located in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. If you need our services, please stop by and see us.
And how convenient that we have that in the background. Now, seriously, These are good folks. They do really good work. Give them a holler. Attention sports fans. The George Plaster Show will broadcast live this Friday from the grand opening of X Golf at 209 South Royal Oaks in Franklin. If you love golf in any form or fashion, this is where you need to be. Experience the future of golf through the world's most accurate simulator. See you in Franklin on Friday. Grand opening of X Golf at 209 South Royal Oaks in Franklin. If you love golf in any form or fashion, this is where you need to be. Experience the future of golf through the world's most accurate simulator. See you in Franklin on Friday. Two total screw-ups of humongous proportions.
Sports. We're not living in an era where perfection is necessary.
They thought they were a championship contending team.
Here. We told you not to do this. Your sports live here.
On ESPN 94.9.
And the Game Nashville Sports Network. It's the George Plaster Show. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Okay, we are back. So, Kelly, I heard it earlier today. We're 80 days away from the start of college football season. And I think, I don't know this for sure. There is week 0, which is the weekend of August 22nd, but it really kicks in the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday of Labor Day weekend. So I was shocked when I looked this morning at the level of big games. Normally in week 1, you get a lot of UL Monroe against Alabama kind of crap that you're like, yeah, it's college football season, but it's a bunch of duds. So for those of you who are not able to view by way of podcast, here's what I mean. Syracuse, Tennessee, neutral site, Mercedes-Benz in Atlanta on Saturday morning. Think about this one. Texas at Ohio State that Saturday morning. I mean, could you make the argument for now the two best teams on the college level?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know any two that are better. Texas.
No, maybe.
National championship favorite this year.
Alabama, Florida State, a 2:30 game on ABC. Night game, LSU at Clemson. They could play at either Tiger Stadium, and that would be awesome. Auburn, Baylor on Friday night. Georgia Tech at Colorado on Friday night. On Sunday, Virginia Tech, South Carolina in Atlanta, neutral site. Here's the one I can't wait for. The Catholics versus the Convicts.
Oh, yeah.
Sunday night on ABC of Labor Day weekend. And then Bill Belichick makes his college football debut on Monday night, TCU at North Carolina. So, guys, help me. Where's this coming from?
Money. Week 1 matters now more than ever, I think, because, week 0 is always, at least, we've had 4 years of week 0. It's never really been all that good. I think more and more you want to kick off the season with a bang, and this is the best I've seen. I mean,
by a mile.
Tennessee, Syracuse, Nico leaving, that's not the best matchup now. I mean, Tennessee fans will be excited, but there's not a huge draw for that one anymore. But 2:30, Alabama, Florida State, an improved Florida State team. They should be with Castellanos and Gus Malzahn running the show. And then later that night, you've got, a great showdown, LSU, Clemson, the battle of the Death Valleys. So Saturday is the best. best day.
It looks like some schools are saying now, Kelly, one loss isn't going to kill us. And if we win it, it'll really shoot us up in the committee's eyes. I've never seen anything like this.
I've never seen a schedule like that either, George. You're absolutely right. You used to start off with Louisiana Monroe and all these cupcake games at the beginning of the year, and then a couple of years ago when Nick Saban, it's been a while now, but they played Florida State in Atlanta, but it was only one game. It wasn't that slate of games. That's pretty impressive, and it's kind of getting like, we've said it before, it's going to get like the NFL because now you're paying players, and now I think you're seeing the schedule show that. Early in the season, hey, we're going to have these monster games like Texas Ohio State's a pretty big game. LSU Clemson's a pretty big game. Like you usually don't see that at the beginning of the year, and these coaches are staying up at nighttime and got to take their sleep aids because I think you're right, George. On another example is you just said that one loss is not going to hurt us, and if we do win this game, this could catapult our season. So I think that's what you're seeing. I think they're trying to get it from start to finish, really good, really big games.
So you would agree with me that in the past, coaches would have never taken these challenges.
Absolutely. No, they would never have taken that challenge. I can remember, talking about Alabama and Florida State playing in Atlanta, probably 6 or 7 years ago, and might even been longer than that. But I can remember Nick Saban was belly aching a little bit about that. He said we got to play what's on our schedule, but he would prefer to, have that game later on in the year. But I think that's what you're seeing, this new wave of college football where you're paying players and kids are transferring, but you're also getting these big games at the beginning of the year.
There's some pressure cookers for the SEC teams in this week 1 schedule. Tennessee, if they lose, buckle up, Josh Heupel. The pressure's on, buddy.
Buckle up, yes.
And same for Hugh Freeze and Auburn. You have to go beat Baylor in that game. I know it's on the road, but still, you can't start your season in what's already a pressure cooker of a job right now for Hugh Freeze. South Carolina, maybe not as much. They're hosting Virginia Tech, a mediocre Virginia Tech team. But I also
neutral site.
Oh, true, neutral site. And that'll probably be pretty equal crowd showing. But Bama and LSU. Kalen DeBoer loses in Tallahassee week 1. It's not going to be pretty. Same with Brian Kelly and LSU and everything they've been hampering about with him in that program. They can't go lose at Clemson to start the year. Now they can still make the playoff. That's the difference now, like you talked about, George. But just vibes wise and confidence and the way he feels to start a season, we know how it can turn. There's some real pressure cooker games for SEC teams.
How many people do y'all think will be watching Bill Belichick's first game in college on that Monday Night Football game between them and TCU? There's going to be so many people just seeing how he can transfer from the NFL to college and see what he's done.
I don't think it's going to be pretty. And if I'm Sonny Dykes, I'm licking my chops right now. You get to face off against Bill Belichick in his first ever college football game.
I can just see at halftime when they try to interview Bill and the girlfriend says, "Oh, no, we're not doing this." By the way, let me ask a serious question. Think about this for a second. So that list, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got 5 SEC teams in that list.
Mm-hmm.
If they had gone 6,
yep.
How many of these schools in the SEC do you think would have said no thank you if they had added a 9th conference game? What we're seeing on that list, it wouldn't be happening.
Yeah, you may be right, George. That 9th game in conference play is going to be, I don't know. I just, that's tough when you're playing in the Big Ten or the SEC. You've got these juggernauts, more so in the SEC because in the Big Ten you got really 2 teams, and then Indiana came along last year. But I would fight that if I'm a coach. I'm going to fight that till I can't fight it anymore. But I don't know. I can see that coming.
They're going to lose the battle eventually,
Yep.
But I thought they were going to lose it at these spring meetings. And the fact that they didn't, it does make me wonder if the coaches really got in Sankey's ear and said, cool it.
Seriously, I would say, are you crazy? We're just beating up on each other, and we're trying to get people into the national championship bid with 9 games. That's crazy.
Okay, just a little taste of college football there. Plenty more coming in the days to come. After the break, it's time to make you some money. Plaster Bet of the Day is next on 94.9 The Fan.
You watch the race? We got you.
I can't believe it!
NASCAR lives on the Game Nashville Sports Network. Whether it's 102.5 The Game, 94.9 The Fan, or Sports Talk 830, you can hear it all. Just check theGameNashville.com for the full schedule. NASCAR lives here. Your sports live here on the Game Nashville Sports Network.
Nashville, the semifinals of the PFL World Tournament begin Thursday, June 12th. Former welterweight world champion Jason Jackson takes on rising star the Silverback Thad Jean. Plus 2023 PFL World Champ Jesus Pinedo and Gabriel Braga collide in a highly anticipated trilogy match. Don't miss your chance to see the action live June 12th at Municipal Auditorium in Nashville. Visit pflmma.com/schedule for more info.
It's the George Plaster Show. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Final segment on a Wednesday. I almost forgot what day it was.
That's not good.
No. Bet of the Day brought to you by Bart Durham Injury Law. Let's check out what happened last night. It was another loss for George. The Cardinals could not get it done, but the Cubs did.
Oh, yeah, now wait a minute. Why are we accentuating the negative?
Sorry, I forgot there was actually 2 games last night.
You're getting like Kelly. Is that how you want to be?
Rubbing off on him. Sorry, Billy. I'm sorry, Billy. My bad.
Billy, is that how you want to be?
No, I forgot there was 2 last night. It's on me.
We have to accentuate the positive. Here is the positive. We're going 2-0 tonight. Ready? Stanley Cup final begins tonight, and because it's in Edmonton, we're going with the Oilers. You got that, Kelly?
I do. Do you think the Oilers? I mean, Florida's really good. You think the Oilers got a shot? I mean, they're really good too.
Yeah. I
don't think the Oilers win the series. I think they win tonight, though.
Do you not? You don't think they'll win the series?
No, I'm with Willie. The way their goalie's playing, and they just kind of suffocate you.
I'm going the other way. This is going 7. This is going to be a great series.
Who wins?
Edmonton in Game 7.
Wow.
Yeah. We're calling the upset. And then the traditional taking of the Cubs. You'll notice
it's going to be like the White Sox last year.
Well, it might be.
You just bet against the White Sox.
What you have to do is analyze the situation, Billy, and capitalize. It's about making the people money. Gifts to the people.
Hey, start betting on the Rockies. What was the stat?
They've won 3 in a row, but
that's more than the Braves have.
Yeah, what I saw on Twitter earlier was that the Rockies in the last 3 days have 3 wins, and that is more than the Braves have in the last 17 days.
When we need your help, we'll ask for it.
So somebody turn my mic on.
I know.
And I want to tell all the people, George went with Edmonton in 7. That means Florida's going to sweep them in 4.
Not a chance. We'll see all of you tomorrow. Mike Organ will join us at 3:20. We'll get into what was a great weekend of racing at the Super Speedway. This is 94.9 The Fan.